What's the craziest dare you did or seen someone do in a game of truth or dare? Story 1. A girl got dared to get a facial. She came downstairs with juices still on her face as proof, and then another girl was dared to lick some of it off. The second girl refused to do it. Story 2. I took part in a dare. A girl in our group laid on her stomach and placed some chips between her butt cheeks, and I had to go down there and get them. She got embarrassed when I went to grab the crumbs. Story 3. Me and my girlfriend played with another couple that we were friends with. Each person ended up giving head to their non-partner. I think truth or dare was just an excuse to break the ice. Someone replied, "That was pretty close to how my girlfriend and I had our first foursome. We knew the couple was kind of interested, so while playing board games and we were trying to figure out what was next, my girlfriend said pretty nonchalantly, 'Well, we could just have a blowjob contest.' Everyone knew immediately what that meant. A couple, everyone is okay with this, right? Questions later, we went to get to it. The funniest part was the other guy immediately ran off to the restroom after, while the other three of us got on the bed. After it seemed like it was taking a long time, his wife yelled, asking if he was okay. He got annoyed, yelled back, 'Well, honey, we had intimacy earlier, and I didn't wash up. I didn't know I was getting blown by someone else, and it just seems rude to be unclean.' We all busted out laughing. Nearly killed the mood, but the expected fun was had by all after. Story 4. We were at the dorms and dared our friend, who had just gotten accepted to culinary school without having taken any classes yet, to make us a fancy dinner using just the dorm room appliances. Toaster oven, George Foreman grill, hot plate. He got up and left, and we assumed it was because he was tired of us always teasing him about wanting to be an Iron Chef. He watched the show all the time. But nope, he came back with groceries and made us an incredible short rib dish that I still think about to this day. And that was 22 years ago. Story 5. It was a night of truth or dare Jenga in college, and a girl pulled a piece with the dare to prank call your parents. It was around 3 a.m., and she called them, only repeating the phrase, "Peace in the Middle East," over and over until they hung up. The next day, her parents showed up at the dorms to take her home, thinking she was either on drugs or had lost it. It was a small town, and she came from a very religious family, so the whole "I was just drunk and it was funny" explanation didn't go over well with them. Someone replied, "I had a party at my parents' house in college, and a friend from the dorms wanted to come. He told his parents about it, and they were not happy, but he was 20 at the time, so he came anyway." The next day, we got back to campus and found out there were cops canvassing the area with his photo because they had reported him as missing the night before. Someone else replied, "I know how that feels, and it's tough. I went to college back before cell phones were common, so we had a shared landline in our dorm room. My parents liked calling at random times, so of course they called while I was out at my first college party. My roommate, of course, told them straight up that I was out at a party and probably wouldn't be back until late. At 5 a.m. the next morning, the phone started ringing. It was my parents, angry that I was wasting their hard-earned money by going out. At the time, I was too intimidated by them to even think about reminding them that I was on a full-ride scholarship that I earned through my hard work and good grades. They told me they were going to call me every half hour for the rest of the day, and I had better answer, as I should definitely be spending the day studying and staying in my room. After that, I was grounded for 2 weeks, and they said they'd enforce it by calling at random times. If I ever missed a call, they threatened to drop everything and drive to the school to bring me home if necessary. They spent the rest of my college years trying to catch me out. If they called when they thought I should be in my room and no one answered, they would call around to find me. They'd contact the front desk, campus offices, security, my RAs and TAs, and anyone else they could think of. I even got called into the chancellor's office once, where I was told very firmly to make sure my parents always knew my schedule. Apparently, they didn't approve of me attending a last-minute study group for a major exam. I've been estranged from my parents for years now because they refused to respect any boundaries and insisted on controlling my life. Going no contact with them has been the best decision I've ever made. Story 6. In 6th grade, my girlfriend dared me to kiss her best friend. I went ahead and did it, and she got upset, saying it was a test, and I failed. Story 7. I know a 21-year-old girl who was on a break from her 21-year-old boyfriend. Not broken up, just on a break. She was also really mad at him. Her best friend, who loved to stir the pot, dared her to do something with her boyfriend's 18-year-old brother, and she went along with it. They were both pretty drunk at the time. She even took a picture and sent it to her boyfriend, thinking it would just upset him, not realizing it would end their relationship. Her boyfriend ended up cropping his brother's face out of the picture, printing it, making copies, and leaving them all over their lecture hall right before class. It was, to put it lightly, a very messy situation. Story 8. It was only crazy in context, but here's what happened. My two-faced friend dared the guy I liked, who she also liked, to kiss the prettiest girl there. She got the idea after watching The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'm sure her logic was that my guy wouldn't pick me because we were super close friends, and he didn't want to make things awkward. However, what she didn't know was that he and I had just started dating. We just hadn't told anyone yet. So he looked at me, smiled mischievously, and went in for a full kiss, which shocked everyone. Story 9. A buddy I was living with once told me it was impossible to walk more than 100,000 steps in a day. I didn't believe him, so he dared me to prove him wrong. Well, I did the math, and for my height, that's roughly 52 miles. I bought a pedometer, set out at 3 a.m., and walked from Lemon Grove, California to Poway. I finished around 11 p.m. and took an Uber back. I woke him up and showed him the proof. Never tell me what I can't do. Edit. I really appreciate the John Locke comments. I had to look him up. And for those of you wondering, why didn't you do a round trip? Well, within 12 hours of him saying I couldn't do it, I was already walking to prove him wrong. I didn't really map it out, just kept heading in a general direction. Story 10. A girl licked whipped cream off another girl's tits on a dare during a naked hot tub truth or dare game just last week. It was a good night. Story 11. I sucked my own dick in front of a group of girls once. Someone replied, no dare involved, just showing off. Story 12. I went to Catholic school for high school. I grew up in a tough neighborhood and wasn't at all like the kids that went there. I played football and was good enough that the quarterback took a liking to me. He invited me to a party he was having. This was my freshman year, by the way. He told me it was a farm party, so my naive self showed up in overalls and boots. But when I got there, I realized it wasn't what I thought it was. It was a pharmacy party. Kids brought drugs from home, including their parents' prescriptions. One kid dared a cheerleader to take some random pills with vodka. I immediately left the party. I wanted no part of that. I've seen the consequences of being involved in that kind of stuff. Apparently, the girl ended up jumping on the poker table, stripping down and collapsing. She had to go to the ER. Surprise, right? She got her stomach pumped, came back to school a week later, and acted like nothing happened. Rich kids can be a different breed. Story 13. My best friend was dared to eat a spoonful of mayonnaise. She did it. Then during the sleepover, my other friend got too sick from drinking too much Mountain Dew and ended up vomiting on my best friend while she was swallowing. This made my best friend throw up the mayo. Our moms were called and we all went home early. It was a bummer of a night. To this day, just seeing mayo makes me feel a little queasy. Story 14. Was drinking alone one night and dared myself to play Civilization 4 until 5 in the morning. Skipped my alarm that morning, missed work, and got fired. Definitely not safe for work. Story 15. Dared to put ghost pepper chili sauce on my lady bits. To this day, I still regret it. If you like stories like these, please make sure to like and subscribe for more. If you have any opinions on these stories, let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you all enjoyed today's story time, and I hope to hear from you all soon.